Around the world, a generation is rising up, demanding urgent action on the climate emergency. Trouble is, no one seems to be listening. My name's James Levelle. I'm a filmmaker and adventurer.
Category 2 hurricane!
I've seen for myself how destructive climate chaos can be. But jetting around the world, I'm part of the problem. And I want to do something about that. I'm traveling from the UK over 9,000 miles to Chile, fossil fuel free, on a mission to see the climate crisis through the eyes of the next generation, whose future is most at stake. I'm gonna hit the ground, meet them,
Enchanté.
and amplify their voices in a film that I'll deliver to the United Nations Climate Conference in Chile. If I can get there in time.
Here we go!
No planes. No petrol.
Off-roading in my little electric car.
No emissions.
This has to be the biggest story in the world. It's a race for the future.
Let's kick it off now. Yes!
On my journey so far, the sail ship to get me to Latin America leaves southern Spain in only 3 weeks.
The truth is, almost none of this is planned at all.
The wind left me for dead in the English Channel.
We're in the shipping lanes.
We're essentially sitting ducks.
In Paris, I met young people and even animals on the march for change.
The shepherd and his sheep.
I free-dived to protect marine life on an ocean cleanup.
Whoa!
I took the wrong path up the Pyrenees.
This is absolutely nuts.
Learned the latest moves for peaceful protest.
That's a try, surely.
And realised there's real power in proper planning.
38 kilometres on the battery, 52 kilometres to the charge point.
If I miss the boat, it's game over.
I think we're dead. Yeah, so the news is, didn't make it up the hill. Not that far from the top, but it was just too much for little Zoe here, the electric car from Madrid. So I'm stuck on a hillside, less than 2 kilometres from the charging point. Hola!
I have no choice but to call road rescue.
I guess this is just part of the adventure of fossil fuel-free travel, right? Doesn't always work out. This is part of the challenge. Pickup truck to the rescue. Hola, senor.
This truck obviously runs on fossil fuel, so I'll account for the emissions.
Vale, vale.
Okay, excelente. It's 9 at night now, but the amazing news is the legendary Carlos, un abrazo, gracias, came to the rescue, has dropped me off at this charging point, and in about 3 hours, I'll be good to go again. Car fully charged. And even though running out of electricity, running out of power, bit me in the arse, it has been totally, totally worth it. The young people at the youth camp have so inspired me and taught me so much. I wouldn't have changed it for the world. So this is it. Last major leg of my European journey, Madrid down to Seville. I haven't got time to cycle. It's a huge distance. Fortunately, Spain has the most incredible electric trains. The Ave here. I'm gonna jump on this with my bike, whiz all the way down at super high speed, and get on that sailboat.
From Madrid, I'm racing south at over 180 miles per hour to Seville. Travelling emission-free is rarely this easy, but after 1,600 miles, I've emitted only around 10 kilos of CO2. Driving all this way in a petrol-fueled car could have emitted 80 times more carbon dioxide. Now, all that lies between me and South America is the second largest ocean in the world, the Atlantic.
Right, Sevilla.
Historically, the inland port of Seville was a major travel hub for Europeans heading to the New World during the Age of Exploration.
It's really dawning on me now what lies immediately ahead of me. Sailing the tall ship across the Atlantic, 50 days at sea. Holy. You are not gonna believe this. Wow.
The Bark Europa is a 100-year-old tall ship, standing 108 feet tall and 180 feet long. She weighs just over 300 tons. Once used as a lightship shining a path for other ships to navigate by, today scientists use her to study marine life across the world's oceans.
That is the ship I'm gonna be sailing across the Atlantic Ocean.
And crucially, she's the only option I've found for sailing wind-powered halfway across the planet to Latin America.
I feel like a proper pirate.
Last time I went for a sail, it didn't work out so well. When I ended up a sitting duck in the world's busiest shipping lane.
We've got no wind. We've lost the horizon. There'll be others coming, that's the other thing, James. There's plenty more and we can't see them.
If I'm taking on the Atlantic Ocean, I'm gonna need a bigger boat.
This is it. Bye-bye, Europe. Hey, man.
First things first, if I'm spending 55 days at sea, I need to check out my digs.
Oh, stoit. Cool. Look at this. This is my home for the next 50 days. Space is of a premium. Oof. Fits. Oof. So I'm in the bowels of the ship now. Trying to find a spot for the bike. Found the beers, limes. No danger of scurvy. Turns out there's not a huge amount of space down here. Trying to stash my bike. Hopefully it will remain in one piece and not end up being a rust bucket. This is it. Loading the gangplank, ready to set sail.
Except maneuvering this massive ship out of port does require some engine power. Wow! This spectacular vessel is skippered by Captain Janke.
3.8 meters.
Thank you.
God, it looks amazing. So that's it, the Atlantic.
Yes, there she is.
One stage of the journey ended, a new one begins.
From Seville in southern Spain, we'll follow the prevailing winds to the Canary Islands, where we'll make a stop at the island of Tenerife. From there, we'll make our way down to the Cape Verde Islands, the last bit of land we'll see for over 30 days as we sail for South America, where I'll make landfall in Uruguay.
Controlling, like if I'm gonna fly out at this point.
There are 30 sails on this tall ship and almost 4 miles of rope. At full speed, she can reach 13 knots, around 15 miles per hour. But keeping her on course requires a lot of people power. This ship will be my home for 55 days. So, I'd better learn the ropes.
Bollocks! Oh, what a load of crap. Right, I've got to do it again.
40 push-ups because I didn't do that right. You want me to do that now?
Crucial part of being vaguely useful on the ship. Learn your knots. Struggling with my knots here. So I'm leaving Europe, the old world behind me.
For now, conditions at sea are calm, but back on land, the next generation are kicking up a storm. Today, millions of people are protesting in over 150 countries, demanding action to stop the climate emergency, making this one of the biggest global demonstrations in history. And many of the young people I've met are out there leading the march.
Being on the streets shows the government and the leaders that the youth do care.
So we're too young to vote, and so this is how we're going to get our voices heard.
What do we want? When do we want it?
Making good progress on our way to the Canary Islands. From there, across the rest of the Atlantic Ocean to Uruguay. It's going to be a big stretch. And I'm on top of the foremast right now, and it's pretty bloody high. But there's a wind in our sails. We're making good progress.
We sail south along the west coast of Africa, and after 10 days, we reach holiday hotspot Tenerife.
I can see land! Land ahoy! Climate change is a very real and present danger. This island is used to getting battered by big Atlantic storms, but those storms are getting bigger and more destructive. But not long ago, it was thrashed by a storm that created 40-foot waves that actually destroyed balconies on the apartment blocks down by the sea.
But huge destructive waves aren't the only problem hitting this island. I'm meeting up with some local activists to find out what other environmental issues are threatening Tenerife.
Pablo, nice to meet you. Cool. Thanks for meeting me, guys. What sort of real and present climate change challenges are you facing?
We have like a very oil-intensive industry.
We have a lot of sun, a lot of wind, a lot of sea to get the energy to be totally sustainable. But the lobbies were trying to direct our development to one point, fossil fuels.
Globally, about 75% of climate change is being caused by our energy consumption, specifically coal, gas, and oil. We need to transition to clean, renewable energy. People used to say, oh, those are too expensive, but that's no longer true. Solar energy is beating out natural gas in many parts of the world. So today, we really do have the solutions in our hands. We just need to accelerate that transition.
Renewable energy is not only possible, the neighbouring island of El Hierro harnesses the power of the trade winds as its main source of energy, showing that wind turbines could make Tenerife similarly self-sufficient. Energy is not the only self-sufficiency issue here on Tenerife. 90% of the food the islanders eat has to be imported. I'm up at dawn to take an electric tram on my way to a permaculture farming project that's developing a more sustainable and environmentally friendly source of food for Tenerife.
This tram is only taking me half the way. The rest of the journey, I have to cycle. So a young lad who I know here on the island, Nesta, has agreed to lend me his bike. Morning, mate. How you doing? Brilliant. So this is it. These are my wheels. Yep. I've got my bike. Only issue is flat tire. Not ideal. The only place I can find to pump up the tires is a petrol station. What are you gonna do? Time to go pedal power. Bike's rolling smoothly, and I am on the other side of the island, making good progress. Loads of banana trees.
Most farmers grow just one crop on a large scale and then export it. So very little food is produced on the island for locals here to eat. This monoculture farming is reliant on fossil fuels for imports and exports, and for the fertilizer and pesticides used to produce crops on such a large scale. The farm I'm visiting offers a less fossil fuel intensive alternative.
I think this is it. Hello, Tracy, lovely to meet you. How you doing?
Tracy is currently managing the Bark Permaculture project here on the north side of the island.
What is permaculture?
Permaculture looks at, in nature, how things happen. So if you look at a forest in nature, no one digs the garden, no one takes out the compost, the whole system takes care of itself. So it needs less input with minimum amount of water, no pesticides, etc. It is so healthy, and yet no one adds anything into this system.
So I'm just going around and eating all your food.
No, it's fine. You're very welcome.
It's very good, though.
The permaculture system aims to be as efficient as possible. All rubbish is repurposed or composted. Literally everything.
This is the human composting toilet. It's wriggling. Yeah, there are worms or maggots in here.
I hope so.
It's not the horror show I was expecting, but there's life.
To pay for my light-fingered buffet, Tracy puts me to work preparing mulch, which is spread over the vegetable beds to protect the soil.
Huge contrast between this and the monoculture cash crops that's all around. I love the whole idea of observing nature's rules, then applying them directly for your own agricultural system. What a fascinating introduction to Tenerife. The whole setup is crazy, totally unsustainable, utterly dependent on fossil fuel for power generation, for its food, and very vulnerable to climate change.
But there are renewable energy solutions and agricultural methods ready to go if the people of Tenerife so choose.
Change is only possible if we understand that everything is interconnected.
And we have to learn to live more closely to the nature and with the nature, not against it.
Help us, and if not, step aside.
Back on board, the crew have a surprise for me.
Wow, holy moly! Boom!
I'm sailing over 1,000 miles to the last bit of land I'll see whilst crossing the Atlantic Ocean, the island of Sal, part of the Cape Verde Islands. The name Sal means salt in Portuguese. In the 19th and 20th centuries, salt produced here was loaded on ships bound for Brazil. I'm sailing the same route across the Atlantic, and this is our last chance to stock up on supplies.
We're on a mission to get some decent chocolate here in Sal. Hola. ¿Quién chocolate?
Yes.
Snickers, Mars, Kit Kat. So I think it's got to be Snickers. Got a chocolate. That's it, we've cast off. We need to get into the open sea as quickly as possible, set the sails, harness that wind power and get going, because we've got a weather front coming down, we've got a storm that threatens to stop us in our tracks. So we need to move.
An Atlantic storm has caught up with our ship.
Got to make sure the sails are protected. If we lose them, we're in serious trouble.
The winds are strong and incredibly changeable. Powerful gusts from different directions risk ripping our sails.
It's all hands on deck.
Okay, we need a lot of fuel up here. We're going to brace the main.
Soon, we're stuck in the thick of it and getting battered on all sides.
190, there's thunder. Move! Hold the course.
Check on the royal.
Yeah?
Check if the gaskets are all on.
Okay.
Captain Janke sends me up the mast to make sure that the sails at the top are tightly bound up to prevent them getting damaged by the storm. It's a 30-metre high climb, wet with big gusts of wind.
I'm just doing the lowest bit now. The wind's getting much stronger.
This is one of the most dangerous places on the ship.
It's pretty hairy.
A fall from this height could be deadly.
Bloody hell. That is not good. Wow! Woo! Okay. Holy moly! Better get a move on. Job done. Woo! Shit. Okay, all right. That was, I think, one of the hairiest, nerve-wracking jobs I've ever done.
We emerge from the storm with our sails intact and make good progress south.
I don't think anyone on this boat is working. Everyone's enjoying the sunrise. I'm trying to stay focused, but it's a bit tricky when you've got that going on.
Oh.
I settle into life on board the Bark Europa and join the crew in working in 4-hour shifts.
3:30 in the morning. This is the galley kitchen. Ta-da! Food is obviously one of the things that gets me most excited on the boat. 15-second onion chopping challenge in the galley kitchen. 3, 2, 1. In the bag! Oh! That was very impressive, but sadly not in the bucket.
With over 13,000 square feet of sails, the rigging needs constant adjustment, and that requires the highest level of teamwork. So, it's a sailor's life for me.
He's doing great here. Maybe if he could become a great sailor, we'll see what's going on at the end, but he's improving. James.
Yes.
Well done, boy.
Good work.
Yeah.
On top of that, there's always maintenance. And my least favourite, cleaning. Lots of cleaning.
Janke, what's your favourite thing about captaining a tall ship?
Well, it's probably not calculated.
Does that mean we're lost?
Almost, yes.
Shit.
Yes. Better get into the lifeboat, man.
But the beauty of life at sea is mind-blowing.
We've got dolphins riding the bow waves of our ship, which is super cool.
But as we head closer to the equator, we enter the Doldrums, an area of extremely low wind and a new challenge to my mission.
This
explains everything. Got a chart here of the prevailing winds. Here we are in the Atlantic. We've got winds heading from north to south, winds heading from south to north, meeting here in this messy zone around the equator. That really mucks up the wind. And the Doldrums are notorious for being windless. That's what we're heading for right now. The Doldrums can really range in width. And I just have to hope that on this passage across the Atlantic, they're as small as possible. Because without any wind, I really am screwed.
It's a beautiful sunny day today. The wind has dropped, which is bad news for making rapid progress to South America, but it's actually good news for science because I'm about to team up with a young lad here on the boat called Fred, who's on a mission to explore and analyse the health of plankton in our oceans. Why are you so interested in plankton?
Plankton are really important for the whole ecosystem. They're, of course, the base of the food chains. Around 45 to 50% of the oxygen that we have in our atmosphere gets produced by plankton.
So if your research shows that plankton are in trouble, we're in trouble?
Yes, that's right.
Through pollution, through human expansion, we have put enormous pressure on many of our natural ecosystems, both here on land as well as in the ocean. The ocean is becoming more acidic as it absorbs more and more of human-produced carbon dioxide. Plankton have shells that are made of calcium carbonate, and the more acidic the ocean water becomes, the quicker those shells dissolve, putting the base of the food chain in the ocean at risk.
Let's catch some plankton, man. Let's go get the mantis trawl.
It would basically be collecting the plankton that will come into my net and analyzing that for changes that may relate to environmental factors.
Wow, that's incredible. That is heavy with plankton, right?
Yep.
Look at that, it's amazing.
That is really a good catch today.
With the mantis trawl back on board, I joined Fred in the ship's library to run tests on these ocean drifters. First, we test the acidity of the seawater. If it's healthy, it should be slightly alkaline.
Compare it against the white background, so it's around 8.
That's good. This is healthy seawater.
Yes.
Next, we test the biodiversity of the sample. If the plankton is on good form, we should see a variety of different species.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
a huge amount of biodiversity, which suggests a healthy ocean here, which is really good news. If climate change does start to seriously impact plankton, we're in big trouble. There is concern and evidence that the oceans are acidifying.
Of course, yes. There are signs of plankton groups struggling.
But this lot doing well, it's a good sign.
Definitely.
So, it's good news in the lab, but it's bad news on deck. As we get closer to the equator, the wind disappears and the ship drifts like the plankton below. If the wind doesn't pick up soon, I'll be late making landfall in Uruguay, leaving me no chance of travelling 1,000 miles to Chile in time. And I'll fail to deliver the youth messages to the UN climate conference.
So this is it. This is the Doldrums. Barely a puff of wind, and we are barely moving. How long we're stuck in them depends, and the weather changes every day. Right now, I'm going nowhere fast.
It is baking hot and barely a puff of wind. But the welcome bonus to that is we're going so slowly, we can squeeze in a swim.
This is wild swimming at its most spectacular. I'm hundreds of miles from land, and the seabed is miles beneath me.
Wow. 5
kilometres of ocean below. Nothing but the deep blue sea. Nuts.
My deep sea dip was unforgettable, but I'm never going to swim my way to South America. And right now, the ship's going nowhere.
That swim was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. It was just super cool. What's up?
Yeah. As you might have seen, there's no wind. So I got to inform you that you might be shattered, but I'm going to start 2 engines because we're not going anywhere.
This is the classic Doldrums.
This is classic. No wind.
How long would we have to wait around if we were going to wait for wind?
But maybe 5 days. And then again, it also might be 2 weeks. Many people, including you, who want to get somewhere. Water we got enough, supplies as well, but time is lacking. Maybe that's the modern world.
So we have no choice but to fire up the engines. With the engines running and no sails to handle, there's nothing to do but keep myself busy and hope for wind.
Well, the good news is, after what feels like forever idling in the doldrums, finally we have some wind. And it's going to be enough to start pushing us westward towards South America.
Is this the end of the doldrums, finally?
I think so.
Great.
Yes.
All right, where do you want me?
Sails up.
I want it.
Start talking to me.
26, 26, 26, 26.
We're on our way again, which I have to say is a huge relief. I am super, super chuffed. We leave the doldrums behind and sail the last stretch south to Uruguay. With only 2 more weeks at sea, I check my satellite messenger and quickly wish I hadn't.
Soon to arrive in South America, the last leg of my epic adventure, and I've just had news through that the COP25 UN climate conference in Chile has just been cancelled. What are you supposed to do with that?
Following mass protests and civil unrest in Chile, triggered by economic, social, and environmental issues, the UN climate conference has been moved to Madrid.
Everything I'm working towards has just been scrapped.
Soon, with South America finally in sight, we approach the port of Montevideo, and I make a big decision.
I've been thinking long and hard about what to do. Where does the adventure go from here? It's really clear to me now what I need to do. I need to finish what I started. I set myself the challenge of travelling all the way from the UK to Chile fossil fuel free. And I promised the young people along that journey that I would collect their climate action video messages. And when I got to Chile, I would deliver those messages in a film to the COP25 UN climate conference. And I know the COP25 isn't in Chile anymore. I know it's in Madrid, but that's not the point. The point is, I said I was going to travel to Santiago in Chile, fossil fuel free. That's what I'm going to do. I need to keep collecting those climate action video messages from the young people along the way, get that film seen by the widest possible audience. I'm going to complete this challenge, and I'm going to deliver on my promise. The last leg of this epic adventure is about to begin. Time to recover the bike, head down into the bowels of the ship. And there she is. It's bloody working. I'm about to set foot on land for the first time in over a month. See what happens. Oh, it's weird. That's it. Dry land. Time to get the bike and get the heck out of here. Oh my God, it weighs a ton. Shit. It's bye-bye Europa. Bring on South America. It's been a long time on this incredible ship with these amazing people, and all good things have to come to an end. And I'm just trying not to get too emotional.
Take care, my friend.
Bye, Jimmy.
I don't want to do any more bloody goodbye.
Thank you.
Montevideo is the capital of Uruguay and is home to around a third of the country's population. It has one of the highest standards of living in Latin America, but this low-lying coastal city is particularly at risk of rising sea levels.
It's good to get the legs moving again. Well, I gotta tell you, this is a shock to the system. The hustle, the bustle, the people, the noise.
I cycle out to the eastern suburbs where family friends Paula and Fabian have invited me to stay.
Oh, wow, what a greeting. Hi.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much.
I've made contact with a local activist named Clara from school strike movement Fridays for Future. Clara is leading a demonstration 10 miles away in the city centre this afternoon. My sea legs will never get me there in time. However, this electric scooter can cruise at 15 miles per hour.
Adios, muchachos. Oh, hey.
But with a range of only 3 miles, I'll have to relay my way, swapping out rides as I go.
So this is scooter number 2. Let's get going.
Come on, little green scooter.
Wait. Oh. Okay, scooter number 3. Go. Shoot, we've got 15 minutes. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Getting close, but really late. It's just not good. Danger of missing the demonstration.
¡Justicia climática! ¿Cuándo la queremos? ¡Ya! ¿Qué queremos? ¡Justicia climática! ¿Cuándo la queremos? ¡Ya!
¿Qué queremos?
¡Justicia climática!
¿Cuándo la queremos?
¡Ya!
This is great. I arrived in South America only yesterday, and I'm now getting involved in a Fridays for Future demonstration. It's a small one, but every little counts. These guys, they're going out, getting their message out there, trying to make their voices heard. So it's inspiring stuff.
Careful not to impede the traffic, these young activists make their climate concerns seen and heard by the commuters whilst they wait for the traffic lights to change.
Queremos futuro, no aire impuro. Queremos futuro, no aire impuro.
Queremos futuro, no aire impuro. We want a future, not polluted, impure air. Wow, man, walking through the traffic, it's pretty full on. That's what this is all about, getting this in people's faces, on the agenda, making them think about it.
¿Qué queremos? That guy was encouraging you with his horn. How do you feel people generally respond? Do you ever talk to people in the cars?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah?
Sometimes they saw us and it's like, I understand what you are doing.
When the demonstration ends, I ask Clara how she feels about the UN climate conference being moved from here in South America to Madrid.
It was a huge disappointment, not just because we weren't going as we individuals, it was because our message, it's not being as heard as it could have been. It's silencing South American voices. We as South America were hoping to have the COP here because of how at risk we are and how important it is, and we need also to encourage people to take care of what is happening, because if they don't see it close to them, and all of these conferences and talks and speeches and treaties are being done in Europe and not here, people here will be out of touch with it.
The last big thing I want to ask is about what I am going to go do and can do, and I want to ask what you guys think.
Chile is going to do like a Contra COP, which is another conference planned by them. If you can manage to record as much as you can, interview as many people as you can, just try to make all voices heard. That's the most you can do for us.
Santiago's Contra COP, or People's Climate Festival, will run parallel with the UN conference in Madrid. If I can get there in time, this could be a fantastic stage to present the youth climate messages.
If I can continue and keep filming and use my, my film platform to help make your voices heard and to amplify.
Always. For us and for everyone, this is worth it.
Queremos futuro, no aire impuro.
The animal agriculture is one of the biggest polluters in all the world. Please eat less meat.
We as climate activists are trying our best, but we can't do it on our own. So we want everyone to wake up and think, I can try to do my best too.
These guys are really upset, frustrated. Their platform that they were intending to go to at the COP in Chile, it's been removed, it's gone. They feel like they've been sidelined. And so that gives me even more motivation, meeting with them, taking their climate action video messages to Chile, all the same, and hopefully getting the opportunity to participate in the Citizens' COP being put on there by the mayor. This is my opportunity to help them amplify their voices. Their belief in my mission means everything to me. I'm inspired, I'm energized, I'm pumped. Bring on Chile.
Uruguay!
Breaking the rules.
Going for a world first. Have to drive through the night, completely exhausted. This is it, the big challenge. Time is running out.
I feel like I'm cycling for my life.
It's kicking off now.